Dallas is with the Illuminati.
It's the Illuminati, guys.
Ah. We should stop recording while you're on the phone.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
what you doing?
Recording.
What?
Recording.
What?
We're recording.
We're recording our podcast.
Oh.
And you're currently being recorded. For
Okay.
quality control.
Captain, we have a proximity alert with the planet Geekery. We are approaching collision.
Quicks, get somebody on the comms, enter in the security code.
257. Security code accepted.
Hello, devoted geeks, and welcome to episode 31 of Comm Talk, the podcast extension of Geek Devotions, the YouTube show from a couple of devoted geeks who are devoted to letting people know that they are loved. I am Dallas, and with me is
Celeste.
And as you listen to today's podcast, please interact with us. Send us your thoughts via Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Simply look for Geek Devotions on all those platforms. Also, do us a favor, check out iTunes and leave a review. It helps people to understand who we are and maybe subscribe to our channel. So that being said, today is going to be a very interesting podcast, Celeste, because
the intro is no indication of that.
Well, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, we're handing Geek Devotions off to somebody else. We're handing it over, and yeah, we're talking about handing over Geek Devotions. Why are you looking at me like that, Celeste?
I'm just letting it sink in and let them assume what you want them to assume.
Alright, so it's not really as tragic as it sounds.
We're not handing it over permanently, guys.
So, at our church we have a training center. We have school ministries called the Healing Place School Ministry. And we did this last year with them.
Yes.
In fact, this is they're the reason why we started Comm Talk, to be honest. But what happens is my pastor comes to me and goes, "Hey, Dallas, I need you to do some stuff with the school. I want you to take them and let them experience Geek Devotions, because it's a very different kind of ministry."
Very different kind of ministry.
And so last year, we took them and they took over the month of May.
Yes.
And we had May Movie Madness.
Which was their idea.
Mm-hmm. And you were part of that.
I was part of the school.
Mm-hmm. And Celeste has graduated. Yay! So, but now we got another crop of students. And this is going to be an interesting month.
You make them sound like corn.
They're like corn. Maybe they are. They just keep growing out of nowhere.
Oh dear.
So, but anyways, this is an interesting process for us. Mm-hmm. And so today's podcast, we're going to kind of talk about what they're going to be doing, but also be some of the stuff that's behind it for us.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what they're doing. Celeste, can you tell everyone listening what the students of our school ministry will be doing this year?
They are going to be taking over the month of April,
mm-hmm.
and we actually picked the theme this year rather than them picking the theme.
Yeah.
So the month of April is going to be Anime April.
Woo!
All the otakos went, yay!
Did you say otacos?
Did I say it wrong?
Oh my gosh.
Do we edit that?
No, we're leaving it. No. Otakus.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it.
She's just hungry. Otaku wants a taco.
I like anime, but I'm sorry.
Alright, so you're saying... Oh my gosh.
They're taking over April, and we're having Anime April. We're not sure what animes that are going to be doing devotions on yet. We've given them some suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure one of the girls is going to do one of the musical animes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a suggestion for her, she's a music teacher.
Yeah.
And she sings opera and likes musicals. And so if you have one that you're like, yes, this is the epitome of musical anime, let us know. We'll pass it on.
Yeah, absolutely. So we also have another project though. They're not just doing Geek Devotions.
Yes.
They're taking over Extra Tuesday.
Yes.
And so with Extra Tuesday, it's a little bit different. What they're doing is I've tasked these students to look up 4 genres of anime. Shoujo, shonen, slice of life, and sci-fi. And what they have to do is I got to do 4 episodes, one for each one, and explain what each one of those things are. Mm-hmm. And then they have to give recommendations. One for kids, one for teenagers, and one for adults. Not raunchy, but just like it's more for adults.
Storyline is more geared towards adult thinking.
Exactly. And so it's a little different. When I was talking with this particular group of students who are doing the Extra Tuesdays, I was telling them, like, look, I want you guys to understand that sometimes people come to our stuff because they're looking for recommendations. They're looking for, hey, I'm not into XYZ fandom, but, I have some in my life that is. I got, kids, or I got some friends that are into it, and I want to suggest to them something that's quality, that's good, but isn't just filthy or whatever.
Yeah.
Or something that's age range appropriate. So treat these episodes like they're the only episodes they're going to see. And so that's what we've done. And it was interesting.
Very.
I feel like some of them were a little nervous.
Yes. Yes, they were. I was kind of surprised. The 1 or 2 people I thought would be nervous were cool with it. And then one person I thought would be fine was not. Mm-hmm. And we will be praying for her.
Indeed. But I think it'll be good. I think everything's going to go smoothly.
It's going to do good. And she's going to do amazing.
Oh, yeah. But it's just an interesting process because the last year what we kept hearing was, well, I'm not geeky. I'm not geeky. And we're like, that's okay. Yeah. You don't have to be. For what we're doing, we're asking them to do is step in and help reach out to people who they wouldn't normally reach out to.
Yeah.
And so go in it with just kind of an open mind, have some grace, and be willing to do something different, obviously. I told them they're going to have to research some stuff out, especially the ones that are doing the Extra Tuesdays. They're going to have to do some research. That's the reason why they have a little more time to work on their project than the Geek Devotions crew. But I wanted them to really dig into this and explore and find out, because there's stigmas about anime.
Yeah.
Either you had the stigma of it's all for the children, or it's inappropriate and pornography. And so I told them, I was trying to explain to them, is like, look, there's a middle ground here. Anime is a medium.
Yes.
But its usage is just like any other medium. It could be for kids, for adults, for teenagers, or something just highly inappropriate that doesn't even exist.
Truth.
So that's kind of where we're going with it. And they were nervous, like we said.
Yeah.
But I think by the time we finished the night, they were cool with it. They're curious about some of the stuff. They're kind of, it's one of those things that they just have to get in and do it. I remember last year we had several of the students, and they were really, really nervous.
Well, and I think the difference is last year there was we were giving them less direction, because you had the aspect of I was in the class, so I'm supposed to be doing the project, not running the project. So you had that part of things, which was personally kind of difficult, because it was I would have ideas, and I'm not the most vocal in the group, and so the most vocal in the group would have an idea, and that's what everyone went with,
right? And
it turned out fine.
Yeah, it was great. In fact, it was a great
it was
series we had for
and
last
they did
time.
amazing.
Oh yeah.
But it was interesting because they went in a way that I would have not, had I been more in control, I would not have said, yeah, let's do this.
And that kind of brings us to one of our talking points that we wanted to talk about, is what it's like for us to hand over something that we've put a lot of work into.
Yeah.
We invest a lot of time and effort into Geek Devotions, Extra Tuesdays, the Instagram posts, the devotions, Devoted Geek Life, Comm Talk, all these things. And for us to go, hey, we want you guys to take over. We're handing over this control to them. There's an interesting process.
Yes.
Once a month we bring in the guests who take over the show for a Friday. And but these are people who, they already they do this.
Yeah.
They're normally people who are in kind of the same field. They do YouTube videos, or if they don't do YouTube videos, or they do something similar, like when we had Retro Rewind doing this show.
They don't do videos, but they do podcasts, so you got to see all of their podcast gear.
Exactly. And so it was a little different. And so working through the process of that with our guests but then going to the school, the ministry training center or the school ministry and going, hey guys, you're doing this. And they have their base level and me going, I'm going to let you, or we're going to let you guys do whatever you want within these guidelines.
Yeah.
And again, we had to put more guidelines this year because I feel like
this group is less geeky than the other group.
Well, I'm not sure if it's just that, but like last year we struggled with the fact that there wasn't an awareness of anything. Like it's like when you go, hey, we're doing this, and because of the nature of Geek Devotions, it's such a span of what we do.
Yes.
That we needed to narrow it down for them so they can get focused on a project.
Which is why we actually picked anime, because it still gives us that focus of this is a type of fandom, this is a complete subgenre in the culture, but at the same time, it's so expansive that they have the freedom to do what they want. Like, they have the freedom to, okay, I don't want to watch that type of anime, I'm going to do this. Right.
And so, but anyway, handing them over to them, though, that brings up some emotions for us.
Yeah.
Celeste and I were kind of nervous going into it. And I've done this is my second time giving the speech and walking them through it. And this is your second time, or your first time doing it.
Yeah.
So for you, what was it like whenever we were like, all right, we're doing this, and we're like giving them the mandate and the vision and going, you guys are the ones taking over the show?
It was a mixture, because on one half of things, I know a good portion of these people pretty well. And so I'm going, okay, you can do this, you're going to do amazing with it. Because these second year students were first year students for my second year, so I do have some form of relationship with them. So I'm looking at them and going, okay, you'll do good with this, you'll do good with this, because I have a relationship. But at the same time, I'm going, this is my baby that you're taking over for a whole month. Like, this is our pet, this is our Ryoki. It's our space cabot. And so I was kind of scared that they weren't going to get our heart for it. Because to the outsider, to someone who doesn't sit down and talk with us and get our heart, we just look like we're doing stuff just to do it.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily look like there is...
like a typical ministry.
Yeah, it's not a typical ministry. And I think that's part of why I was so nervous about it. Because it's not your typical ministry. It's not your general thing that they're going to do with the rest of the staff. So it has that aspect of this y'all can do this, and then come out of it and go, oh my god, that's horrible, I can't believe they do that, why do they waste all their time? And it's something that is very close to our hearts.
Yeah.
So I was nervous that they would not catch our vision. So, yeah. But I think they did.
Yeah.
Like, the response of the crowd seemed to be okay. until we got into the, I'm going to be on camera?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That is part of it. You know, it's helping, trying to cast vision and laying out. And I think the key is this, because, and you said something, and so you and I both have struggled with this over the years, going, you know, well, this is our baby.
Yeah.
And, well, no. I mean, I understand the sentiment of it, and I definitely feel that way at times, but this is the Lord's.
Yeah.
This is what God's given us to steward and do well with. And with the mindset of a steward, instead of it just as my child, but I'm a steward of this seed that God's given us. I feel like it's easier if I can maintain that mindset of going, all right, I am handing this off to people I trust to do well. And we do trust them. They're great.
Absolutely.
Every one of the people in the school ministry are fantastic people, and while they may be uncomfortable with the project, I know they will do their best to do right by the project. I don't think they're going to phone it in. No. And that was one of my worries. That has always been one of my worries, because when you go to a group of people who this is not their thing, you do have the mindset of, and kind of just, you know, this
is not my thing. Why should I put effort into
it?
I don't think we're going to have that problem.
I don't think we are going to either, but that is one of the things you worry about.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things where I'm like, we have to trust that God's going to take care of the situation. We have to trust that God's going to lead them and to inspire them himself through his divine revelation to them. And them, at a response to his call, will do well. And like I said, they're already going to do well. We know they will.
Yeah.
They're going to be stretched a little bit. They're going to feel uncomfortable because of the nature of what we're doing.
Absolutely.
But I think they're going to do really well.
I completely agree. I don't want this to sound like we're doubting them.
No.
We have every confidence that they will do amazing. It's just it's one of those things of you're looking at this and you're going, I know you're going to do amazing. And then you have your own self-doubts of, oh, but what do they think about it?
Right. Because when you put so much effort into something, anything you do, for those that are listening right now, no matter what it is that you do, whatever it is that it's your thing. Maybe you're a podcaster and you have your own thing, or maybe you have a YouTube channel, or maybe you have this idea for a business or some sort of ministry, and you put so much work into it, and then you get to the point where you go, I have to trust somebody else to do some of this. Those are scary thoughts. Mm-hmm. But that's, again, where we have to go, I'm going to trust the Lord that he's going to take care of it.
Yeah.
The last time we did this, my fear was certain things, and birthed out of my fears and some things I saw came Comm Talk.
Yes.
And ironically, none of them are doing Comm Talk.
You will still have us for Comm Talk during the month of April.
Yeah. But it's just one of those things where I'm just like, what's going to grow out of this year? And that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Is seeing what grows out of it. In the students. And one of the things we told them is that we're not doing this to make them do geek devotions for the rest of their lives.
Exactly.
But we're inviting them into our world, into something that we do, to equip them with tools and a mindset and a skill set to reach their own people, their own demographic.
Because the other side of things is they're not only just doing the Geek Devotions for the month and the Extra Tuesdays for the month. Mm-hmm. When we film the Geek Devotions, the Extra Tuesday team is running the camera and the lights and the setting and doing all of the background stuff.
Right.
And then for the next time when the Extra Tuesday crew films, the Geek Devotions team will be doing that thing. So they are learning film theory?
Yeah, partially.
Some film theory. They're going to be learning how to do everything but the editing.
Mm-hmm.
We're handling that because I'm still learning that, so I definitely don't feel confident to teach anybody. Not to mention we don't necessarily have the setup to walk them through their editing process.
Exactly. So, again, there's a lot of emotions around this, a lot of excitement.
Yes.
And anticipation. I'm anticipating God to do some great things through the month of April. And so... yeah, I think that's really all that. This is kind of this is our podcast, but this is kind of us walking you guys through what we've been walking through for the last couple of weeks, really.
Yes. In
preparation, the emotion of, are they going to like this? Are they not going to like it? What's going to be like to teach this class? And then us going, all right, let's see what they do.
Exactly.
So we have our first filming day in a month.
Yes.
With the Geek Devotion team.
Yes.
And... like Celeste said, the Extra Tuesday team will be working the cameras and the lights. Mm-hmm. And then the following month, we'll flip the teams. And they will have to... Extra Tuesday teams will be recording. And then the Geek Devotion team will be working the camera and the lights.
Yeah.
So...
I'm super excited to see what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Because... especially for the Geek Devotions team, because those three particular people, I know what they have in them. Mm-hmm. I know their thoughts. I know how they process things. So I'm intrigued to see what they pull out, because they all think very differently than we do.
Right.
So they're gonna see things that we don't necessarily see.
Right.
So I'm excited to see what they pull out, and I'm also excited for the Extra Tuesday team to see what they find.
Right. So I don't know. It's gonna be fun. Whatever happens, it's gonna be fun. And guys, hang out with us. Let us know your thoughts on all this. Obviously, send us a message. Let us know what your thoughts are on animes, especially the musical one.
Yes.
I'm not familiar with a lot of musical ones. Celeste found a website that listed a whole bunch of them. And
so I passed that to her, but I've never watched them, so it was more of a, hey, here's a list, but I have no idea what's good and what's not good.
It's just not something we do.
Well, and we don't have easy access to it.
True story.
Because I would watch musical animes, now that I know that they're a thing.
So let us know your guys' thoughts. If you have any suggestions or anything for them, cheer them on, help us out. And when this happens, again, this is going to be all throughout the month of April. Guys, encourage the mess out of them. I'd like to, if some of you guys are from the Reformed Anime Hub,
yes,
love on them, cheer them up, and and cheer them on, because these guys are the concept of anime was so foreign for some of these students.
We had to go over there's certain types of anime you cannot use for devotions. And so one of them was like, wait, there's anime that's inappropriate? It's a cartoon. We're like, no.
So we had to give them a list of words to stay away from.
Yes, we did. And if you watch anime, you know what those words are.
Exactly. So, I don't know, it's going to be fun. I think that's all we have. Celeste, you got anything else you want to add to this conversation?
I think we're good, other than just be kind to them, guys. So we're really excited to see what they pull out.
Yeah, and when these do come out, if they speak to you, if they are encouraging to you, we want to encourage you guys to pass them off to people who you know need to hear these words. Pass them off to people who they need encouragement. They need to know that there's a God that loves them, that cares about them, and that there is hope in the end of all things. So I think that's all then.
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to Comm Talk today. If you've loved this episode, head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It's very much appreciated. Until next Sunday, stay devoted.
Peace and love.